there. What would you like to talk about today?
Hi. And so I really need some help with my thesis and on how to develop examples in a body paragraph. So for this essay, I'm supposed to describe Tan's perspective about the value of different Englishes, and then I have to say what I think of this perspective, and I'm supposed to use personal experience, observations, and readings to help support my argument.
Okay, let's take a look at your thesis. So you say college students with impeccable broken English should speak and understand formal English so they can communicate easier in their academic life. So what do you think of your thesis?
Well, I mean, I'm not really sure. That's why I came in here.
Okay, do you think it responds to the prompt?
Well, let's see. I have my opinion, and I'm talking about how I'm going to use some personal examples, so I think so. Is that enough?
Maybe. Do you think you address all aspects of the prompt?
I said college students with impeccable broken English should speak and understand formal English so they can communicate easier in their academic life. I think I do. It seems like it's responding to the prompt.
Well, I do see how you're incorporating your opinion and your personal experience, and that's good, but I don't think it's good that you don't mention Tan. So you may want to double check with your professor to see if you need to, but let's move on to your question about your paragraph's examples.
Okay.
Alright, so let's look at your paragraph. You say, academic lectures can be easier to understand when everyone in the class speak the same level of formal English. With everyone speak the same level of formal English, the conversations go smoothly, which promotes the overall understanding and the effectiveness of the lectures. For example, in a complicated ecology courses, students have a harder time understanding the contents when the professor uses academic words that students cannot understand, which leads to students' distraction during classes. Other courses have similar situation too. I heard from one of my cohorts that during her American history courses, she can hardly follow the professor's lecture because complicated phrases and her relatively poor level of formal English. These two cases illustrates the importance of speaking the same level of formal English. Alright, so what do you think about the examples you've included?
Well, I think they're okay. On my last paper, my professor told me I needed more developed examples, so I tried to do a little more here. What do you think?
Well, what is the point you're trying to make with these examples?
Well, so my main one, in the complicated ecology courses, that students have a harder time understanding the content when the professor uses academic words that students can't understand, which leads to students' distraction during class. So I really wanted to show how it's super important for students to know formal English to do well in ecology courses.
Do you think that example is good enough to satisfy what your professor wants?
I mean, I think so, yeah. I didn't really have any examples on my last essay, so I was really trying to include more in this one.
Okay, then you're probably okay then. If you think this one and your next one are clear enough to respond to the assignment.
Okay, I hope you're right. Thank you.
You're welcome.